So I feel like it's been quite a long time since I've actually just sat down and chatted with you guys. So there's been so much happening behind the scenes with life, with work, trying to figure out what's next. And I kind of wanted to share what's really been happening and have a proper catch up with you guys. So today's video is a little chit chat about what's next for life, because there are some big life potential changes coming from where my head's at with life in Barcelona, our visa ending next year, which is crazy that it's been so fast. What I really want to do with this channel, because I feel like in general, I've really evolved a lot this year, and I want this channel to also evolve with me, and how I've been feeling about work and pretty much everything in between. So get cozy, get comfy, sit down, and I'm gonna kind of chat with you guys through all the big updates coming, all the potential new life chapters, and just share a little bit more of me, because I want this channel to feel like a diary of my life, a diary of what's really going on behind the scenes. Also just like a journey. I want to take you guys through all the different life updates that are happening. And yeah, I'm really excited. So let's start with the big one, and that is our life update on Barcelona. Now, we have a pretty big decision to make coming up, because our visa actually expires in July of 2026. So we pretty much have about 8 months left on our visa, which is crazy. And we obviously have to make the decision before July comes, because if we want to renew, we do have the option to do that for 2 more years, but we have to get the paperwork in order, and we pretty much have to do the same application process that we did in the start. So there'll be a little less paperwork for some things, but a lot of it will remain the same. So it's going to take some time to gather all of that. So we need to make a decision. And also, if you want to move, it's going to be a big thing. So I want to share where my head's at with if we're going to renew or if we're potentially going to move on and move somewhere else, because to be completely frank, I'm torn. Like, I am so torn down the middle what to do, and I'll kind of go through why. But I do want to preface this by saying, like, I love Barcelona. I absolutely adore this city, and it has been nothing but the best place for us over the past couple of years. But there's also a part of me that feels like at that 3.5-year mark, maybe it's time for us to go somewhere else. I also get itchy feet, which is a bad thing, but I'm surprised that I'll even last 3.5 years in one place. Like, to me, that's mind-boggling, because if you don't know my story, I quit my job back in 2019, and I pretty much bounced around for about 3 years. And so putting roots down was something that I was excited about, but also apprehensive. And I have traveled loads since being here, but I think that having a home base is something I really do enjoy. So a part of me is like, maybe a new home base. But the thing that we're struggling with is there's nowhere I actually want to move. The reasons now that I might consider moving are more to do with taxes and finances. So taxes here in Barcelona, or in Spain in general, are obviously much higher than the US, which I was well prepared for. Maybe I didn't realize how much it was going to be higher, because the ability to expense things is much lower. So for example, I've talked in previous videos about being self-employed and what my taxes have been like, and I'll put that up here for you guys if you want to watch that one. But for an easy, stupid example, I bought a drone that was like 1,000 euros, and it has to be deducted over the course of 4 years because the value is over 300 euros. So obviously, when I have all these deductions for my business and I'm not really seeing those deductions come out, but I'm spending the money, it's making my taxable income much higher, which obviously isn't ideal. But at the same time, I know that my taxes are going towards much better services like my free healthcare here, which is a very big point that I love and definitely keeps me here. I think the tipping point that I struggle with right now is the Social Security. So Social Security here in Spain, if you're self-employed autonomo, is what you're contributing to for your pension. However, you can't actually fully access that pension unless you contribute in Spain for 15 years. So I know for a fact that we won't be contributing here in Spain for 15 years. It's also a very long time. So at the current moment, all the money that I'm spending on my Social Security and pension is pretty much just being burned and blown into the wind. I can't see it. I can't touch it. I won't be able to access it. And to me, that's a bit of a struggle. And my boyfriend might have to go autonomo here in Spain. And if he does, the potential of both of us spending pretty much our rent in Social Security payments monthly and then not being able to see the outcome of that years down the road, or pretty much ever, is a really big financial cost that I'm not sure makes sense. So that's one of the reasons that we have kind of been going back and forth on whether or not we're going to renew. And then in general, with my business, I obviously do YouTube, I do social media, Instagram, TikTok, and then I have my podcast management business. But when it comes to content creation, I would say that Spain is not really been a very lucrative place to be, because for me personally, my audience is mostly American, as an American living abroad, and European brands don't always want to work with me because I have an American audience, and the American brands don't really want to work with me because I live in Europe. So it's this big struggle, and I have done collaborations, I've done some UGC, but it's definitely been, I think, something that's helped me grow by living here, in the sense of being an American that's lived abroad. But in terms of actually turning it into a income monthly, it's been a massive struggle. And I actually have some content creator friends that have left Spain due to this reason, because the collaborations that you can get here are very, very horribly paid or unpaid. And there is a bit of struggle. Getting products sent here is a headache. If you know anything about the Spanish mail system, you just want to bash your head into a wall. It doesn't even make sense. They pretty much tax you on all of it. Even if someone sends you a gift, like they bought you a birthday present and mailed it to you, you'll get taxed on it. If you send your own stuff from the US to here, you'll get taxed on it in the mail. So it's just a bit crazy. Getting stuff here is really hard unless it's a European brand. And again, this is part of my personal struggle with content creation right now, in terms of being able to really expand and grow it here in Barcelona. So those are a few of the reasons why I think that we might not extend, which is a huge deal, because I actually don't know where we would go, which is one of the biggest headaches in the world. Like, I can't explain to you how many nights I have been kept awake and not been able to sleep thinking about this, because it is hard. We're from two different countries. I'm from the US, he's from the UK. So trying to find a happy middle ground is always a bit hard. We both have to be close to both places because of work opportunities. My boyfriend's also a DJ, so he does tour, and he tours in the US, he tours in the UK and Europe. So we have to be somewhere around here. But financially, we're trying to figure out what makes the most sense. It's difficult. It's not the best. It's not the easiest decision. It's a big decision as well, especially since I love Barcelona so much and I love living here and I love our apartment and I love our life. But at what cost does it maybe come at? And that's what we're trying to weigh out. So we might renew, we might not. But that is definitely a massive life update that is incoming in the next 6 months. I have to make a decision. And again, it haunts me sometimes. So it's hard because I think there are literally so many reasons on each end pulling us each way. And in 6 months' time, I'll come back and give you guys an update. But right now, we're just in a massive, massive tug of war. But I'm trying to let myself sit with it and just over time realize that the right answer will come to us. So that is our little Barcelona update. And then part 2 of the update is going to be this channel. So if you've been here from the start, which was back in October 22, when I birthed this channel, it was all about my journey of potentially moving to Spain. I was exploring a lot of Barcelona. I was making the decision. Then we decided to move here. I took you guys along for the move. I took you along for finding an apartment, getting the visa, the taxes, the paperwork. And I've definitely loved sharing that journey. But I almost feel like the channel became more about tips on moving to Spain or visas and taxes, which are definitely important. But I feel like I got lost in it a bit. And I feel like it hasn't evolved with who I am as a person or my current experiences in the past couple of years. And like I said earlier, I'm not even sure if we're gonna be here in a year's time. So I want this channel to evolve with me as a person, as an entrepreneur, as a creative. And I wanna make this more of the diary of my journey, which is what it started as. And I want to take you guys along because I think there's so much that I actually haven't shared on here about my life, about being an entrepreneur, what I do, what me and my boyfriend's life looks like, the crazy life that potentially could happen in the future, and all the things that we're working on building. And I want to create more of a diary aspect. I mean, that's what it was all born on. It was born on almost my diary journal entries of my experience moving here and all the excitements and all the new things I was doing. And then I kind of felt like I got stuck and I just kept doing the same things over and over again. More about information on life in Barcelona, information on moving to Spain, because that's what really did well. And I won't ever stop giving you guys updates on visas and stuff like that because I think it's super, super important. But moving forward, I want to kind of expand. I want to share more of my lifestyle. I want to share more fashion. I want to take you guys around for some vlogs in Barcelona where we go to some really cool stores. We do some thrift hauls. Maybe we do a fun weekend trip with my friends, and also just some videos sharing with you guys the realities of what I'm going through as an entrepreneur. Because let's be real, that ride is a goddamn roller coaster. It is a roller coaster of ups and downs, of pivots, of trying to figure out what's next, of trying to figure out how to make things work more. And I don't want to feel like I'm always just resulting back to the one type of content that I know that does well, but doesn't light me up. And again, I do love sharing information about moving to Spain or moving to Barcelona specifically to make your journey easier, but I also want to share more of me, share more of my personality, share who I am, and bring you guys along, because I don't know what the next year looks like. I don't know what the next 2 or 3 years look like, but I want to keep this channel and I want to keep evolving with it. And I feel like it could really be a fun adventure together, a fun journey. And some videos might be more tips focused. Some videos might be a diary entry or journal entry about what I'm going through in life, or some updates like this. And some might be some really fun vlogs taking you around just the day-to-day things I do, a reset, cleaning my apartment, going shopping, going out for drinks with friends, the best places to go, the cutest wine bars. Like, there's so many things. So I'm really excited to bring you guys along for that and just expand what this channel has been into something that's more comprehensive of who I am as a person. And I hope you guys stick around for it and enjoy it and are here with me through the journey of kind of opening myself up and sharing more of my life on here. So with all that said, we're going to go into part 3 of this update, which is the work and career update, because work has been an interesting mix lately. I'm super grateful for the clients that I have and the work I've been doing, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel stuck. I feel like creatively I've been in a rut. I feel like even from an entrepreneurial aspect of it, I feel like I've been stuck. I'm doing all the right things and I'm building the business, but something just feels like it's missing. And I just want to feel lit up. I want to feel more excited by my business. And right now, I'm not sure I fully feel that. So to be more transparent, majority of my income comes from my podcast management business. And then the other part of my income comes from content creation and social media. So I always juggle between the two. And I would say social media is what I really enjoy doing. I love content creation. Like, I love to be able to share a bit more of myself and to be able to come up with some creative ideas to share things online. And then the podcast management stuff is more behind the scenes, growing the shows, managing the day-to-day tasks for the shows, strategy, etc. And I feel like when I first went into podcast management, it was because I had my own podcast. So it was kind of like an addition to what I was already doing. But then when I moved to Barcelona, I really struggled because I like to do in-person podcast interviews, me personally. I think they hit better. Me as the host, I feel like they feel better. And I was really struggling to find the people that I wanted to interview and build that with here. So I stopped doing it. And I feel like when I stopped doing it, I kind of then was like, all right, let's just focus on helping other people build theirs and be behind the scenes of everything. And I don't know if that really suits me. I feel like the more I think about it, the more I realize that I almost wish I kept doing my own podcast, and I wish I kept growing that because it was something that really fed my soul. And when I turned it into a management business, it kind of took that aspect away, but at the same time I was like, oh, well, it's not dependent on me having to post, depending on whether my content does well, and maybe I'll enjoy being behind the running machine of stuff. And I think I really enjoy strategy. Like, I enjoy more strategic side of stuff, but I don't know if I enjoy what I've been doing right now. And I also think that recently in the past year, AI has changed so much. And you can either get on board with the change and you can embrace it and figure out how to make it work for your business, which I've definitely been doing over the past year because I think it's super important. But it also changes the dynamic of how the business is run. And I feel like it's taking away a bit of my creative spark on it, and I want to try and find that back. So I've been trying to figure out what other things I really enjoy doing. For instance, on social media, I just started a new series where I'm going to be bringing fashion more into my content, which I'm really excited about, where I'm showing different Spanish brands that you need to know whether you have heard of them potentially before and didn't realize they're actually a Spain-born brand, or maybe something completely different you've never heard of to come shop at in Barcelona or order online, whatever it might be. But I'm really enjoying that. And I'm really enjoying getting back into my style and trying to curate fun pieces and expressing myself more. And I'm letting go of what people think and what people care and what their judgments might be, and just being more of me. And so I want to try and lean into that and figure out how I can use that confidence or that newfound journey to maybe branch into the next sector of life. I'm not really sure. But it's an interesting one because my boyfriend and I are both going after our dreams simultaneously. We're both building our own thing. So he's a full-time DJ and music producer. So he has a studio here in Barcelona that he goes and makes his music at. And then obviously he DJs, whether it's in Spain or in Europe, or goes to the UK or does a tour in the US. So he's been going back and forth a lot. And it's been really interesting because we both are building things simultaneously. And sometimes, to be completely honest, it's fucking hard. It is seriously hard. Like, we go in waves. I'll have a really tough day. He'll have a really tough day. We'll have tough days together. And although it might be difficult, I think it's really nice having each other to lean on, have each other to really push one another and be like, I know it sucks. I know what those days feel like, but like, you got this, keep going. We believe in each other. And that part I think is really huge. But I also think with his career, like, there is a big part that is an unknown as to where we might end up living, if we need to split our time between places, or what the chaos may look like when things start to really pick up and start moving much faster. So there's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of really positive and exciting potential things happening in the future. And so because of that, I don't know what life looks like. So I feel like that life kind of unknown, plus not being 100% sure what my full direction is, but trying to lean into different things, can lead to a lot of confusion. It can lead to a lot of questions, wondering what the hell you're doing, wondering if I'm doing the right thing, if I'm not doing the right thing, if I'm crazy for going after all of this, if we're crazy for doing all of this. And I think like I don't share a lot of that on here. And I've been kind of holding back on that, but that is such a big part of my life and a big part of this journey, and I want to be a big part of this channel. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. A little uncertain, sometimes really tired, sometimes really confused, but also really excited and really hopeful, and so many good things still to come. And I know that, like, I truly in my heart believe that there is just so much good ahead, and I haven't even reached my peak yet. I'm excited to like reach it and to hit it and to bring you guys along for it, and just to share that journey and share all the chapters and the in-betweens and the messy parts and the fun part. And that's kind of what I want to evolve into and share more and bring more to this channel. So if you're in this season of figuring it out, I see you, I get you, I hear you. Trust me, I feel ya. I feel everything. I totally understand. It's not easy, but it's all a part of our beautiful life process. So if you're like, yes, Christina, I want to be there. I want to make sure I am along for the ride. I'm excited to see you. Make sure you subscribe, join this channel, be a part of the community. Let me know in the comments what you want to see more of. Let me know if you relate. Ask me any questions. Let me know if you guys are along for this journey. I'm really excited, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.